Okay. I get it. Okay, before we go to another executive session.
Well, you gotta leave this.
Councilman comments, Mr.
You gotta
Tisch?
leave this meeting.
I have just, I guess it's a brief comment. We have been talking a lot about our property maintenance code and things that we could do to maybe improve that. And I think that we have, for the most part, being reactive to complaints as far as property maintenance code is concerned. And by that, I mean, somebody calls in, we go out and do something along that line. I think one of the things we could do to improve our maintenance efforts there would be to maybe do some more proactive type of thing. If the zoning inspector is going to be the enforcement individual there, one of the things we might do is when he is out looking at other things, looking at for property maintenance code issues, and maybe get the ball rolling a little earlier on that. The other thing that I think we run into with property maintenance code, as well as sometimes police issues, is that when we end up getting a citation and they come into mayor's court, a lot of times we have been through the process of giving people warnings and asking them to do things and that kind of thing. So I think we could be maybe a little stronger with regard to court enforcement with regard to those things. I think that also would help us sell a message there, and that's not any reflection on the mayor or anything like that. Just my observation with regard to that is, trying to, I guess, walk the talk that we have, that we want to be strong, and yet then we walk away from some of those items. And I think that would be helpful as far as property maintenance goes.
Thank you. Mr. LaCicero?
Yeah, since Chuck brought up the subject, I think that it could be that there are things that you explained, Mark, that we can't do when there's pending litigation, right? That
I would
need to be
prefer.
cognizant.
Yeah, I think we need to be cognizant of the pending litigation.
So one of the things I think we could do, and Chuck, I agree with you on proactivity. What's going on with the Hickory Hollow property is it's in the court system, and it is, I would say, closer to resolution than it has been in a very long time. Is that fair to say?
Well, it's close to resolution now, I would say.
Close to resolution now. After this resolution, right, and we are trying, if it's okay to say, we're trying to demolish that home. I think that's a matter of record. There was concern by the neighbors that the owner would pitch a tent once the house is down. And when I asked if we had an ordinance preventing that, I was told that nobody could pitch a tent or pull a little home on property that they own. Correct?
Correct.
So the neighbors on Hickory Hollow and White Oak Court can rest assured that when the house is no longer there, the owners won't be camped out there doing the same thing. Now, if we wait until the court resolution to start any activity, then what happens is we got to start from scratch from that point on. What I would challenge us to do is do a lessons learned. That is, Mike, you were city manager during this period of time. Joe Caruso said he'd love to be a part of this. Hutch could be a part of it. Select someone. Maybe it's Mike, maybe it's you, Mark. I think you might be the point person for this. Starting put together, document what we've learned from this event so that when it is resolved, we don't have to start from scratch. Now, if we intend to knock the house down, rather than wait till the court says it's okay, let's line it all up now, so when the court says it's okay, we can pull the trigger on the day they say it's okay. I think it's worth thinking about, at least, and I'd like some thought from my fellow colleagues here, so that if this makes some sense, then we could jointly encourage, maybe even make a motion, that we do something like this. Chuck Calucci's been very engaged in this situation. Maybe we put together this dossier, we used to call it an after-action review in the private sector, an autopsy, and learn from the things, not to blame anyone, but just to say, here's what happened, here's what, and then you study it and say, what could we have done differently? What changes can we make? So that when we have the opportunity, we don't have to start from scratch.
No,
We're
that's
ready
a
to
good
go.
idea, yeah.
And that, I think, would speak to some of what Chuck is saying. And I was going to say that earlier, but I thought, you know, I'm always harping on this, and I feel like I didn't want to do that. But Chuck brought it up, and I really would encourage us to do that so that we don't have to keep waiting. You know, as soon as we have an opportunity, we act, like we did with clearing this property.
Okay.
That's,
Can I make,
Well,
that's what
I don't know what we're doing here with this. I mean, you
Thank you.
can't, this is
Good
not,
opportunity.
Thank you. Mr. Morgan?
again, we have dedicated time, I'm sorry, we have dedicated time in the meeting for that.
yeah, you just brought up something
And
totally
and you
separate.
could talk to council after that, after the meeting.
Mr. Morgan?
So last week I went down to Washington DC to visit my daughter. And one of the things I enjoy doing is going down to the National Mall. And it really brings to you, especially the Vietnam Memorial, all those names on that wall. And just to walk that mall and to see the people that sacrificed for us, the ultimate sacrifice, to give us our freedoms that we have. They died for us. And it actually brings tears in my eyes to walk that. Next week, please, you have one of the biggest rights of your life, and that's to vote. And people say, well, it doesn't matter, my one vote. It does matter. Those people go down to that National Mall and read the names. It matters. Please, whoever you vote for, vote. Your vote counts. And that's what makes America great. That's what makes our community great. And so I just want to encourage everybody, exercise your vote. Get out and vote.
I have one more thing I wanted to say. I know it's against the rules. I wanted to thank the committee. Two members are here. Maybe they're, I don't know the third fellow that works with you guys. I just want to tell you, I really appreciate hard work that you did. Starting with 51, down to 15, down to 6. We've interviewed one, and I'm looking forward to interviewing the second one. I think you guys did an outstanding job. This city owes you a debt of gratitude. And I want to thank you personally.
Thank you. Mayor?
Two comments. John's comments were excellent about Election Day. Next week also has Veterans Day, November the 11th. Every veteran that you know, just shake his hand and say thank you for your service. And the second comment I have is I love the impatience of my young colleague, Councilman LaCicero, wanting to get things done ahead of time and be ready when the moment arrives where you can act, because I'm old. I can't wait too long. Let's get this stuff done. That's all I have.
Okay, now you can't adjourn this meeting.
Okay,
You can go into executive session.
Yes, right,
You can go back into executive session.
Right, right. Yeah, no, my only comments were, no, I appreciate everything that everybody said up here today too. I agree. I think everybody should get out and vote on Tuesday next week. It is your right, and I think it's a good thing. Second of all, I did mention it earlier. I do want to just again thank the Canfield Police Department. I think they do an outstanding job. I really, really do. I seeing you guys drive through the neighborhood and give out candy, and it brings me back to like when I was a kid, how things kind of really should be.
10 years ago or so.
Yeah, 10 years. Yeah, I wish. I look younger than I am. Good genes, I guess.
Yeah,
But no, I really do appreciate the police department. You guys do an outstanding job, and you guys really are very, very well respected in the community. I want to thank you.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion that we move into executive session for the purpose of
Considering employment matters.
considering employment matters of the city of Canfield, and we move for passage.
Second.